Yo guys, and welcome back to another video on the Broken Low Garage YouTube channel. As I promised you guys in the previous video, I will be fitting a bottle intake on my 150i on the Ballade. And the intake that I got is actually a D series Vtec intake from a shock Vtec, and it's right here. If you aren't familiar with the shock Vtec engine, the shock Vtec engine is a D series engine that had Vtec on the intake cam only. And to my understanding, this intake should flow better than the downdraft style intake, which I'll show you guys the difference between the two intakes in a moment. But this intake should flow a little bit better, which should give me a little bit better performance on the car. The ideal thing to do in this moment would be to put the car on a dyno with the old intake, and after the intake is installed, put it on the dyno again to see the gains. But unfortunately, we don't have a dyno available, so we're just gonna go with it. I'll drive the car and I'll give you guys feedback on the performance and how it feels in the car. The main difference between these two intakes is the fact that the 150i intake looks like a carburetor intake, but it has the ports for the fuel injectors. And obviously this one is shaped like a bottle. That's why it has the name the bottle intake. But with this one, the throttle body sits on top of the intake like that, and with the bottle intake it sits on the front, as you guys know a traditional fuel injection intake looks like. So today we're gonna be changing from this old one to the bottle intake, the D series Vtec intake. I've already went ahead and cleaned the surface where the gasket goes on, because there was a gasket that was stuck here. You can see it's nice and clean. And I've also cleaned this part on the intake itself, so now there's a good bonding surface for the sealant and for the new gasket. Next step would be to prep everything so that I can fit it into the car. Before I get into assembling everything, I want to show you guys what I needed to do to this intake to make it fit onto my 150i. And the main thing that I had to do was make two block of plates over here, as you guys can see, because on the 150i intake, the idle air control valve sits on the throttle, and on the throttle that goes onto this manifold, the idle air control valve actually sits on the manifold itself here. And this is also another piece of that goes here. But seeing that we have a 150i throttle that I'll be using, my original one, I made a block of plates to block that off, and we'll be using this to make everything work on there. That's basically the main change that I had to make to the intake to make it work. And then I also have some pipe here because we need to reroute some pipes. But other than that, this is a very simple install. Another issue that I ran into is the fact that on this Vtec intake, the fuel rail mounts with 3 studs like this, and on the 150i intake there's 2 studs on different locations to mount the fuel rail. So I'm gonna have to modify my fuel rail to fit onto this one, but I don't think that should be too much of an issue, and I'll show you guys how I do that as well. The first thing that I'm gonna have to do is mount the throttle onto the new intake and seal it up and make sure that everything is perfect. And then from there, once everything is assembled outside of the car, I can start with the assembly on the engine. So I'm gonna put you guys on the stand and I'm gonna get straight to work. Look who's here, guys. Jared. Why is all the doors open?
I don't know.
I'm gonna drive with Jared quickly to the shop because Jared must go buy cat food or what? If you know, you know. Another day later, and the car is finally sorted. Last night we did start up the car, but I didn't manage to film any more clips for you guys because it started getting late and it was already quite dark out. Today it is very windy though, but I just want to go over everything with you guys, start the car, show you guys what I did, and show you guys how well the new intake works on the car. The intake is installed, everything works quite nice. The only thing I need to do is I need to open up the loom for the injector wires and all of these plugs so that I can basically reroute everything, tuck everything nicely the way it's supposed to go, and then all the wiring will be neat on the new setup. I also had to make my own maneuver here with the throttle cable because as you guys can see there's two holes here, and on this bracket there's two holes as well. But if you mount this bracket the way it's supposed to go on here, the cable is way too long and there's too much slack and you can't accelerate from inside at all. So I had to do this to make this work. I'll eventually make a new bracket and replace this one. But also from Mr. Late I heard that you can change this bracket on the butterfly and use the 160i bracket over here. Then this cable is flat and it goes in the way it should so that you can open up the throttle. So that is one thing that I want to change on the setup. The 150i one works, but it does not look the greatest the way it's set up right now. I also still need to shorten this pipe that goes there. This one I also want to shorten to make it look neater over here. And then the only other pipes that I had to make work with the new pipe that I bought was, here's one that runs here, and then there's one that runs from here till under the manifold over there. And that's basically it. All you do is you take the pipe, you plug it in, you route it, see how long of a pipe you need, and you can cut it off, put the clamp on, Bob's your uncle. So there's this two and this one that I had to change, but that is the only other piping that I had to change. Also on this Vtec intake there's a little, I don't know if you guys can see there, but there's another water pipe that comes out from this thing which is not needed on this engine. So all I did was I made a block of there and everything seems to work like that. I also just need to add a clamp here so that this thing can clamp on, which I have one in the garage. I need to tighten the box, but I wanted to put the box here just to show you guys what it looks like now with this intake setup on the car. I also want to start the car up for you guys so that you can see how well everything works together. I did not have to do any adjustments for idling or anything on the car. I literally just assembled everything, put it back together the way it's supposed to go back. Car started first time, it idles perfectly fine, everything works. So there's no adjustments to be done, straight fit, and you can have a bottle intake fitted on your 150i just like that. One thing that I did notice with this new setup is that normally when you pull away with this car and you pull away very slow with little to no throttle input, the car tends to jerk until you give enough throttle for it to actually go. But with this setup, it's way smoother. Like if you pull away slow, the car doesn't jerk, it pulls away better, and that's something that I'm really impressed about with this setup. So I highly recommend the bottle intake on the 150i. Right now we're gonna take a drive quickly, show you guys how the car feels, now smooth it drives, and then let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Would you do this on your car? And you guys think I made a good choice to fit this intake and throttle setup on my car. From the pull away, that's it for this video, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of this upgrade on the daily. And also, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you haven't yet. See you guys in the next one. Stay safe.